Took place. Our officials for today's game, Pat Driscoll, Tony Chiazza, and Ed Corliss, as we get ready to get it going. Johnson and Ariarine with the toss and the tap, and it's controlled to the Huskies.
And obviously it's huge that Uconn gets off to a good start in terms of an early basket. And
there it is.
There it is. That's usually their go-to. It gets the crowd into it. Not only that, sometimes our fans in New England get a little disgruntled when you make them stand up too long before you score your first basket.
And an occasional play-by-play guy, particularly one my age, does too. Here's a steal by Diarra, taking it right away from Isaiah Coleman. Solo ball turned down the shot with a shot fake, gave it to Diarra.
That drop coverage, that slip when Johnson rolls to the basket, it's going to be huge for Seton Hall to figure out how they're going to guard that.
Well, the seniors got it started, didn't they?
They really did. This is kind of their bread and butter. And I love the fact that Hassan Diarra stretched the defense out, meaning he made that pass from the side logo there. Now the defense has a further way to recover, and they just couldn't get there.
In addition to Isaiah Coleman after a bad pass by Adewusu. Oh, a little show and a little go from Hassan Diarra. And you think about how good this team is when he's healthy. He struggled with tendonitis much of this season, and particularly in that game 3 weeks ago. They're happy to see him moving around more briskly this time around.
I will say this time of year, if you're healthy, you're probably not playing. So the fact that he is out there limping around, I think it's a good sign, but he's a tough kid, Hassan Diarra. He's learned to play through that tendonitis in that knee.
You can bet Seton Hall knows they need to make a bucket early, and there they did not block out. Ariarine just became a spectator with an early putback, and right away Shaheen says, I've seen enough. Not even 2 minutes deep, he takes a quick timeout.
Well, this is a problem that happens against a team like Uconn on a day like today in this building. Is they're very deliberate on the defensive end. Already a couple steals for Hassan Diarra. You can't play around with the basketball, and they turn their defense into offense. The other issue I think that Seton Hall is going to have is this. How do you play this? That's Isaiah Coleman at about 6'4", 6'5", trying to stand in front of Samson Johnson, and Alex Faraband. Listen, he may struggle at times shooting the ball, but he's so good around the basket.
In the first meeting between these two, we felt just getting to the first television timeout might be an issue. It wasn't in that game because Seton Hall attacked the backcourt of Uconn, got turnovers, easy baskets. They struggle to shoot well, and if they can't make baskets early, it can easily be lights out.
Yeah, there are really no secrets, I think, when you play. To me, this is a game of skill versus will. The skill, obviously, is in the white uniforms. I'm not saying that the players in the black uniforms don't have skill, but they have to will their way because they just haven't found an identity. And for Uconn, their backcourt has to be able to stand guys up, one, but it also has to be able to take some of that pressure that Adewusu and also Coleman are going to put on the guards of Uconn.
Another near turnover on that high pass from Adewusu. Dual, along with Isaiah Coleman, are the two guys that can shoot it. Inside Aligbe, he's trapped and finds a wide open Dual, and he rattles it home. That's a big bucket for Seton Hall, even though we're only 2 minutes and 15 seconds deep. They needed that.
Yeah, they don't shoot it well from downtown, but when you're open, you have to shoot it, especially when the defense is switching and you have all that airspace between you and the next guy rotating.
One thing they can do is defend. But right now, inside, you cannot allow Samson Johnson to get those open gates around the baseline.
What you love about that play for Uconn is it's not a middle of the floor pick and roll or pick and slip. It's on a side, so now you have to stay lifted on the other side with McNeely and the shooters.
Just a lazy pass, and Samson Johnson has them on their feet at Campbell.
Well, this has been Danny Hurley's calling card. Defense, even with the 2 national titles, they didn't mess around on the defensive end.
You think the adrenaline is flowing through Mr. Johnson right now?
Listen, you know when it's your last one in this building, you know how special this building has been for you your entire career. You want to go out with a bang. You want to give the fans back what they've been giving you for 4 years.
Playing with the fervor of, shall we say, Emeka Okafor, perhaps?
A little bit. Good call, good call.
Nice slip. And a missed dunk. That sums it up. Okafor just unable to get it to go on what was a point-blank range dunk. Caravan with a good cut. Could not come up with the pass. Solomon Ball.
Yeah.
Solo makes it a 13-3 game.
You just can't leave him. I mean, that's the pressure that Uconn has really the last 8-10 games put on a lot of teams. Is if you're trying to overhelp on the ball and you don't stay home on those shooters, you're in trouble.
Boy, they are running two right at Coleman, aren't they? As soon as he gets the ball. Middleton. His confidence level picked up after that winning play he made on February 15th. The steal, the offensive rebound, and the winning shot. Caravan did not have his shoulder squared on that one. Middleton the rebound.
And really, just for the record, his shoulders really are never squared. He's got an unorthodox jump shot, so his shoulders aren't always square when he shoots that.
Nice rejection by Dual. And a steal. Quick hands from Aligbe. We welcome those of you that watch St. John's take care of Marquette in overtime to close out the regular season. The regular season champs win here at Gamble. Uconn out to a quick start with the play of Samson Johnson in particular, a 10-point cushion, getting it done inside, outside, and all around the town. Danny Marshall is with me. When we come back, we'll have more exciting Big East action right here on Fox.
I gotta get Marcus some new cleats.
I bet you could buy the whole team new cleats with all that money you saved.
Nancy Dawson is passive-progressive.
You know, Nancy, that's actually really...
Nancy doesn't have progressive, so she takes it out on those who do.
You should get Luca private coaching with that. Maybe he'll score a goal. I figured you'd want the whole roll since you've saved hundreds with Progressive.
How many tickets?
2, please.
Don't be passive-progressive.
2 for Becky.
Drivers who switch could save hundreds.
I didn't use Agent Force, the powerful AI from Salesforce, so an AI agent didn't send me the fastest route to my gate. Which has changed.
I'll tell the pilot to hold the plane. They got an app for that, dude.
Agent Force helps Heathrow create a first-class experience. Agent Force. It's what AI was meant to be.
Work out? Thanks, future me.
Mira Joy, the overwhelming relief after Miralax helps you go. Miralax works naturally with the water in your body, putting you in a supernaturally good mood. Miralax, free your gut to free your mood.
There are smaller fish sandwiches that cost less money. But why would you eat the fish your fish is supposed to eat? You're higher up the food chain than that. Arby's, we have the meats.
Fox College Hoops is sponsored by Progressive. Progressive Insurance offers round-the-clock protection. The Huskies off to a great start today, but 3 weeks ago, this was the scene at the Rock. They go for the easy one, and he missed the dunk. Boy, does that sum up the year. Adewusu for 3. We're tied. Ball lost it. Middleton's got it. It's around the rim and in. Seton Hall leads by 1. Diarra at the buzzer. What an upset. The most stunning upset of the season in the Big East Conference, and that's how they did it. With their defense and taking advantage of a Uconn backcourt that was truly struggling at protecting the ball and playing strong with the ball.
Well, the deficiency that Uconn has been struggling with most of the season hurt them in that game, and that's guarding the three-point line. You know, you allow a guy like Dylan Adewusu, who's about a 30% three-point shooter, to help send that game into overtime because you lose him on the three-point line. That hurts you. Now, I know you can live with that most times, but late game and then the inability to be able to get the ball in bounds, and I'm sure we talked about it, post-game they probably worked on when they got on the bus, when they got off the bus, how to get the ball in bounds.
No doubt about it. Another turnover by the Hall. I talked with Alex Caravan earlier today at the shoot-around, and he was the guy triggering in those inbounds passes. They got a 5-second call, could have had a second, and then, of course, the turnover when Solomon Ball lost the dribble to Middleton, who made that winning bucket, and he said, we came right back here, and the first thing we did, and it's been solid all the way throughout, is working on inbounds passes late in games.
But did they come back to the gym like Jim Calhoun made us in our uniforms after a game and practice after a game? That's what I want to know. Kids aren't tough anymore.
Dare I say Hurley is more politically correct than even Jim?
The rules are a little different nowadays.
Yeah, indeed.
They're a little different.
Foul against Jaden Ross, his first, just into the game. It'll be triggered in by Ball.
And this is where Terrace Reed can really hurt you. He's a different player in the post than Samson Johnson.
Yeah, and he needs to get off to a good start, and he turns it over right away.
You just have to know, though, when you get down there with three around you, if you're not going to elevate and go up and try to get a foul or score, you got to find a teammate.
The Hall throwing up bricks early. They need some consistency. Only Dual has made a bucket from downtown. That's been it. And we're almost 6 minutes deep here in the opening half.
It's a nice recovery in transition by Seton Hall to find a guy pointing and talking, so important on the road especially.
Another turnover by the home team this time.
I think it all started with their transition defense, getting back. You've seen Toomey doing a great job of coming down to that baseline and helping. They're going to need more of that consistency, I think, when you're a team like Seton Hall who just hasn't found they haven't found their identity. You need to be more consistent, and putting together a couple of plays at both ends will help that.
On the curl, Coleman has it slapped away, and now Reed gets lost and stumbles into Isaiah to pick up the foul.
Love to see Isaiah Coleman get downhill. I think with his athletic ability, his length also, and I think he was trying to turn the corner here. Really good cutoff by Hassan Diarra, but he can't settle for long jump shots. That's exactly what Uconn wants him to do. If they can take him out, it's pretty much a cakewalk after that.
In traffic, going to the left hand that time. Middleton, it rolls off the rim. Already 5 turnovers committed by the Pirates. And in the paint, Uconn pitching a shutout. 10-0 so far. Samson Johnson doing large measure for that. 3 out of 4 from the floor. Solomon Ball, and the Cardinal sin takes place. Tony Chiazza spots the foul. Yassine Toomey will pick up that foul, number 9, just into the game for Seton Hall, and that'll send Ball to the line to shoot 3.
It always confused me, Tim, how shooters fouled other shooters. You know, it's you guard them the way that, you know, you're guarded. You let them go up, you contest it late.
Late closeouts are a little like late screens, aren't they?
Yeah, they really
It leads
are.
to a foul.
Yeah.
Each time.
Yeah, and now there's so much emphasis on letting a player go up and then come straight down if your feet are underneath them. And I think most of those fouls that have been called on three-point shooters, at least in the games you and I have called, are below the waist, meaning you're not allowing players to come down. It's not so much hitting a guy on the arm or the hand. It's the safety of the shooter. And these are big shots for Solo Ball, too. 28 of 30 games he's been in double-digit scoring. There's something to be said about having just another guy after Caravan and after McNeely.
And multiple threes made in 26 of 30 games.
Yeah.
And Mahaney that time picks up the foul as Adewusu, who, if you think about it, that's his game, is just take it and drive. Do everything you can to get the ball to the 10. And that's the third team foul as Mahaney picks up his second.
Dylan Adewusu is really a nice offset for Isaiah Coleman. He's more of a bully ball type of player, wants to put his head down, use that big, strong body of his. Or Isaiah Coleman is a little bit more finesse.
Boy, an air ball thrown up that time by Isaiah. He rushed that shot a bit. Nice move by Stewart, but he's rejected, stays with it, and gets the putback. He's got some family in town for this game.
He does.
Speaking of, you would know as a family member. This drought now is 5 minutes long for Seton Hall.
There you go. There you
and
go.
It's finally answered by Coleman on a nice runner using the window pane.
And I think you stay with that if you're Isaiah Coleman when that side is cleared out until they can stop you, until you see help coming, and then now you be a distributor.
It's always important for the Pirates to muck it up, turn it into a rock fight. That's how they win any game that they can muster, whether it's in conference play or not. And so far, the Huskies have been in transition, which is, of course, their forte. Mahaney fouled as he takes it into the lane. You can bet all the fouls to give they will use, and that time Adewusu picked it up.
Now another piece for Dan Hurley that is important here heading into conference tournament play and then on to NCAA tournament play. Mahaney's one of those guys who his confidence means everything to him being on the floor. It's not just about matchups. Sometimes you see players and you're thinking, okay, he's a little too big. They're going smaller or vice versa. I think he can really be a factor for Uconn if he can find that confidence in his shooting from the perimeter and his ability to help run the offense when Hassan Diarra is not in the game.
And there's still time.
Yeah.
You know, you got the regular season ending, but the tournament could, the Big East tournament next week could really help before they get into the NCAAs. This is a Uconn team that Mike DeCourcy currently has as an 8 seed. They want to get off that 8-9 line. Dual, after a beautiful save by a cutting Middleton. What awareness on his part to save it to a wide-open Dual.
That's a nice job by Garway to stay wide. Sometimes you start to creep in when you see that ball or help is coming, you follow it.
Mahaney leaves it for Caravan. Caracan! And the Huskies lead by 15. Pretty good numbers, particularly given that slump he was in. Wow. And a block prior to the shot is spotted, much to the chagrin of the capacity crowd here at Gamble Pavilion.
Yeah, but they're where they're supposed to be. They're trying to get those stops. This is a nice job by Garway, Dual for Seton Hall, and then the other end. I still drive the caravan, you know.
Yes, you do.
My life is full of questions. How do I clean an aioli stain? Use Tide. Do I need to pre-treat guacamole? No, it's Tide.
Why do we even buy napkins?
Thankfully, Tide's the answer to almost all of them.
Do crabs have eyebrows?
Except that one.
For all of life's laundry questions, it's got to be Tide.
Coffee Mate is the world's biggest coffee lover. Because we love...
Biggest coffee lover?
Huh?
Impossible.
Well, Coffee Mate loves all the ways you enjoy
Biggest coffee lover? I flew to Thailand for this.
We have flavors from all over the world.
I love iced coffee so much. I lost 2 fingers.
Wow. Well,
we need our little coffee treats, even if it means we'll never afford a house.
What I'm trying to say is... Okay, maybe we're the second biggest coffee lovers.
Meet Norman. He's part Jack Russell and part tornado. Meet the Bissell Crosswave Hydro Steam. It's part vacuum, mop, steamer, and tornado chaser. Bissell, a new breed of clean.
You want high-performance, long-lasting, affordable tools. You want Harbor Freight tools. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Save even more at our parking lot sale going on now.
Panera's packed with flavor bagel just got stacked with even more for just $7.99. Meet our new Asiago Bagel Stacks. Choose from the chicken Roma with grilled chicken and green goddess dressing, the spicy steak or zesty Tuscan. Only $7.99 each and only at Panera for a limited time.
This is a Big East tournament, folks. Bring the hammer.
champion will be crowned.
The Big East Tournament, March 13th through the 15th on Fox and FS1.
Here at the basketball capital of the world, they bring props, and they're good ones too. And that'll get us right into this segment on Alex Karaban's up and down season. But he had to take on so much more responsibility with the loss of Tristan Newton and Cam Spencer.
Listen, he goes from being one of 4 guys to being the guy. When the season started, expectations, we try as athletes to say the only expectations we care about are the ones we have for ourselves. But that other stuff creeps in, especially now with the socials. Everyone knows, they're reading, they're talking about it. Should he have left? Should he have come back? Well, I tell you what, he's not going to be one of those guys that's going to say, I regret doing this. He takes responsibility. We talked about it early in the season. He missed a couple free throws in a game. Can't get the ball in against C. So there's a lot of stuff, but that helps you grow. That helps your maturation process. And Alex Karaban, he really is, if you saw a statue of someone who shows leadership and dependability, number 11 it's going to be a statue of him.
Sometimes you can be victimized by your own basketball IQ. Here's Adewusu. They ran that play for him. That is his favorite spot along the perimeter. He had a big one to send that game into overtime from just there 3 weeks ago, but unable to get that one to go. Karaban, because he cares so deeply too, that's part of it for him. And in talking with not only Alex before today's shoot-around, but then with Danny Hurley afterwards, it was like, listen, I knew he would come around, and the moment he did, other guys would take hold. And having Liam McNeely come back into the lineup and play well really helps Alex a great deal.
Well, when he missed those free throws, I think that was against Villanova.
It was.
He came back that night. They got back, and he was in the gym like we had talked about earlier.
Yep. And McNeely just came in for him. He's going to get a quick respite.
I got to give Alex some credit, though. His last 21 of 21 free throws he's made the last 6 games. He hasn't missed a free throw, and his last 4, he's averaging 17 and almost 6 rebounds a game. So he's back into that Alex Karaban phase.
Yeah, Shaheen Holloway's hot. And there was a bump there.
Well, sometimes
there clearly was a foul that went uncalled. No question about it, right? I mean, there's no doubt that's a foul. And it's off of him for yet another turnover. They're allowing him to play. You got to adjust to that, though. No question.
You know,
but Shaheen was hot.
I think if it's marginal contact, though, Tim, you have to play through it.
It's a Big East regular season game. Yeah, I'm with you.
And you're at the end of the regular season as well.
Yeah, on this end of the floor, he doesn't mind if they are liberal with the whistle.
Yeah,
no question. Look at that cut. Oh, yes. Off the feet, and it was a thing of beauty from Ross. McNeely. You know, it could be, when you think about it, the loss of McNeely and then getting him back at this time of the year could have the Huskies as a team misseeded come tournament time. Well, Reed got a hand on that, but there was a foul on a reach prior to the block.
So I think what separates Uconn from a lot of teams, not just in their conference, but in the country, is their movement without the basketball. They never stand still. They don't get stuck in the mud. You know, and the other part of that, which, listen, Liam McNeely he's only as good as Jaden Ross wants him to be in that situation, because if Jaden goes the other way, now he's not getting that easy layup. So moving without the ball reminds you there's remnants of the last 2 years teams here at Uconn where they were never standing still, and that's what made them so very difficult to defend and to play against.
Ball, Johnson, as well as De'Ara, all check back into the game. Reed and Mahaney, who just got his second check out. 1 out of 2 at the free throw line, and the lead is 16 with under 10 to play in the opening half. Garway Dual has 7 of the Hall's 9 points. Ball, a pull-up. Off the back iron. Ariane trying to keep it alive. Aligbe has it. It's going to be a tie ball with the arrow to Seton Hall. If Shaheen Holloway has his way today, we'll see a lot of bodies on the floor. Just get to the ball as quickly as you can. In chatting with him yesterday, Donnie, he was defending his team. Listen, he said, we lost a lot of close games. In addition to having all the injuries, we lost a lot of close games. Everyone knows about, the loss of Kadari Richmond. People forget this is a team that won the NIT a year ago. We've got 2 defending national champions to play, but he lost virtually his entire roster after claiming that NIT title. And Coleman will get credit for that hoop as he takes it inside. Danny Hurley disagrees, but they're going to count the basket.
Yeah, not having Chauncey Jenkins, I think, really hurts them. He played in 18 games. It's a huge loss for a guy who scored almost 1,000 points in 2 seasons at ODU. I mean, when you get those guys, you're thinking, I have guys who can score. They go down. No one has been able to really fill that gap, fill that void for Shaheen.
Chauncey Jenkins hasn't played since January the 18th, and that's a long time to be without a guy that can loosen a defense like he could. McNeely, too strong, and Adewusu pulls it down. Outlet to Coleman, and that's going to be a bump. They're going to wave it off. And the blocking foul is the call.
So there's been 3. There have been 3 guys who have stood up. DR's been 2. He's taken 2 of those. Mahaney was the other one. I think 4. Jalen Stewart was another. And I think Dan Hurley's looking for a charge at some point. Now, if you stress the positive, guys are where they're supposed to be. I still think that call's subjective. It's not a black and white call. We've seen them go opposite ways every time, but you got to be in position, and they're there.
A clear-out foul is going to be called underneath. And Danny's letting Pat Driscoll know about it. Diarra gets the foul. And the foul's beginning to accumulate now from a team standpoint on the Huskies.
You know what I think I love most about Danny Hurley is he's an instigator. And this is coming from someone who took pride in instigating when I played.
Yes.
He instigates the crowd with his emotions and his mannerisms. And
also,
I love it.
He's not going to be in a good mood when a guy like Diarra gets 2 fouls in 2 seconds, which is exactly what happened to send him to the bench. Arine at the line. And at this stage, Shaheen will take a free throw any way he can get it. And that one went crying into the hoop for a free throw made for Seton Hall. This young man does struggle at the line. One out of 2, though, is a bonus.
All right, so now you got the Philly kid in there, Ahmad Noel, who has a chance to get some run, start their offense. You see Solo Ball initiating, but this is a great opportunity for a young man.
Well,
0 and white.
By the way, today at the end of practice, he banked in one from midcourt. So he may be thinking it's his day. And he's got to shoot it now. Under 2 on the clock. Tried to bank it. He dented the top of the backboard with that one. And then the turnover. Caravan with a ying and Samson Johnson with a yang on that passing play.
And that's when I'd love to see Alex Caravan. When that ball comes off and you know you have it secured, go get it right away. You're the leader of this team. Be aggressive. Be assertive. Here's your chance. The defense is scattered. You get an offensive rebound, a long one. You go get the ball from Samson Johnson. You have to always have your eyes on that rebound, and once it's secured, go get it.
Well, Ahmad's got quite a chore here as Coleman, isolated, takes it in for a teardrop, but it comes off the heel. Caravan with the outlet. And let's see what the freshman's got going here. Out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Lost it. Taken away by Coleman. That's 7 turnovers now by the Huskies. Oh, nice pass, and they went to sleep. No help on the backside. And Caravan letting his teammates know about it. And it's 25-14. A little careless with the basketball with this lead, the Huskies. And it's enabled Seton Hall to make a mini run.
Already Dual, one of the best at getting up into guys, using that length, being disruptive.
Nice Beautiful pick there, but to no avail for ball. Out of bounds. It belongs to Uconn. Excellent save by Isaiah Coleman as we take it to break right here.
Look, it's been a struggle this season for Seton Hall, but one thing that's consistent, they play hard and they've stayed together. Shaheen Holloway has to give them credit for that. A lot of game to play.
Sort of like us. We've stayed together.
Shockingly.
Finally done.
Done with what?
I just signed 1,819,154 thank you cards for people who bought subs on last year's Day of Giving.
Danny, you know, on March 26th, we're doing another Day of Giving.
Another Day of Giving?
Yep, each year we give 100% of sales to local charities.
Oh. This year we do a group text. Join us Wednesday, March 26th for Jersey Mike's annual Day of Giving. Be a sub above.
ACE's new Yard RX program prescribes the best lawn care, specific to your yard's needs, delivered every season. Because when you want greener grass, less weeds, and fewer bugs, now you can get a personal prescription delivered to you from the helpful folks at ACE. You'll get everything you need at our best price each season, guaranteed. From our store to your front door, with service so good it's guaranteed.
ACE is the place with the helpful hardware.
It all started with a small business idea.
It's a pillow with a speaker in it. That's right, Craig.
Pulling in the perfect team to get the job done.
I'm just here for the internet. AT&T, it's super fast.
You locked us out?
And when we were thrown a curveball, we had everything we needed.
Is the internet out? Don't worry, we have AT&T internet backup.
The next level network for small business.
I sold a pillow.
During the Genesis Signature event, get 2.99% APR for 60 months on a GV80.
Did you just pay with PayPal?
Yes, it keeps my info safe, even at this shady lemonade stand.
Who are you calling shady, mister?
Oh, like this is fresh squeeze. Give me a break, Logan. I want to pay with you everywhere. Don't just pay, PayPal.
Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. There's only one Shaheen Holloway, too. He's all about emotion and communication. Shaw is not shy.
God's playing freaking scared. All y'all. Everything is timid. Everything we do. Nobody's playing with no aggressiveness. No one. Get over the screen. Come in the game trying to be cool. Cool getting us blown out.
And I understand why he's frustrated. It's not just about the score. The first 8 minutes, UConn scored 20 points. Now, Shaheen gets his guys in a timeout or two, explains to them what's happening. Well, the last 5 minutes, 5 points. So he knows there's been a little bit of momentum defensively for his guys, but you can't have those lapses. Consistency, what we were talking about earlier, Tim, and he knows that. He's got all the numbers running through his head. Plus, he played like that when he was at Seton Hall as well.
Absolutely. And regardless of their record, Seton Hall, the one thing they've always done is buy into playing defense the way he wants it played. Caravan gets them out of their funk yet again. 8 points on the afternoon. 28-14. Boy, how many times out of timeouts do you see a Hurley coach team come up with a great open look on a special run for a top scorer? Aligbe into the lane, high rising, and he gets it down.
Yeah, that's what Aligbe does. Prince Aligbe gets into the paint. He's 2 of 20 on the season from three-point range, so that it's really not his game from behind the arc. Got to get into those seams.
Nassim Felton. Woo! Ooh, what a move, and a beautiful time drop for Johnson, and it's 30-16. Johnson joins Caravan with 8. Felton rejected. Arierne rejected by Johnson. Mahaney Off the heel. Long rebound to McNeely. And Arierne pulls it down.
But I like it because the defense, again, is scrambling. That's when you take those shots. Long rebounds. Guys are trying to pick guys up. Those are 2 open threes there off of the glass.
Up Coleman. He's going to get whistled this time with the offensive foul.
They were 4
right on cue.
There were 4 they didn't call. They finally got one. You got to continue to stand in there and stay with your stuff defensively. I love this solo ball. One of the top 10 three-point shooters in college basketball, but he's sharing the ball from behind the arc. He's sharing the ball because he knows this is a higher percentage shot for Samson Johnson. And you know what? There might be a little love there, senior day.
I would think so.
I don't recall Ray Allen giving me the ball that much on my senior day. That's a conversation I'm going to have with him.
You know, all the swag through the years that Ray has given you, I still can't believe you give him so much grief.
Give me the ball, man.
Reed.
That's what Terrace Reed is saying. Again, just stay with your stuff. Be deliberate with your screens, your rolls, be efficient. And I think that's how Uconn continues to stretch the lead out a little bit. Just stay with your stuff.
That's out to 16 now. That was a pretty good pass, but unfortunately, Okorafor was not ready for it.
Well, Okorafor can't be standing up when there's a white jersey on the floor at his feet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly why the timeout is called, or the conversation that Shaheen eloquently had with his guys in the timeout. You got to get on the floor. I know it's Seton Hall's ball, but the message has to be we want it more than the opponent.
With the ball out of bounds, 20 on the shot clock now as they reset it. Dual looks to trigger it in. Coleman isolated against ball. And there's the alley-oop. Inside. Great defense. Protecting the 10. That's what the Huskies have done all afternoon long. Jaden Ross that time, the culprit. Coleman picks up that foul. That's number 2 on him. And you really hate to have to take him out of the game, but with 4:39 remaining in the half, they're going to have to. And you really limit your scoring options when Isaiah Coleman is forced to come out of the game.
Yeah.
And Tubeck will come in for him. David Tubeck, number 6.
Last I checked, though, you get 5, don't you? I mean, look, if you want to use them all up.
McNeely trying to get past Tubeck. Needs some help. Mahaney up against the shot clock. Dual on him. And he gets a break with a late whistle.
That's such a nice job by Mahaney for a couple of reasons. Defensively, you're thinking, okay, he's a shooter. He's going to pull up. He's going to try to step back. And at any point, he could have tried to jump into Dual and try to draw a foul. He continues to keep his head down. And this is a part of his toughness, learning how to play in a different conference at maybe a higher level for a very demanding coach. Look, every single time you step on the floor and you play for a coach like Dan Hurley, Jim Calhoun, those type of guys, you have an opportunity to gain their trust. And I think that was another opportunity for Mahaney to gain his coach's trust.
This is that time of year when everyone's prognosticating about Cinderellas in the NCAAs. Who might it be? St. Mary's is always the first team mentioned, and that's where he came from, of course. And he was a 2-time All-West Coast Conference player. But, yeah, those kinds of decisions, you're never really going to face that often in a league like that. But here, you absolutely have to put it on the officials to force them to define what a foul is going to be.
And listen, I know I'm a little biased. I grew up in this league. Playing in this league is not like many other leagues. So I know people say it's just basketball. It's not, especially East Coast to West Coast basketball. And Mahaney's got a chance to really take what he's learned his first couple of years and take this team someplace.
Well, these next 350 really going to matter here for Seton Hall to cut this thing maybe down to single digits or at the very least close to 10. A good little give and go action that time. Adewusu in concert with the Core-4.
I think it's the war, those 4-minute wars. You have to try to win this if you're Seton Hall. Don't worry about the score right now. Try to win this next 3.5 minutes.
And right away with that pressure, Danny Hurley identifies it, gets a quick timeout. Lots of history between these teams. And of course, that man right there, Danny Hurley, knows all about it, having been a guard at Seton Hall.
We're here at Blackberry Friday, where everyone wants the unique taste of new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
Full Dr. Pepper!
The sweet blackberry flavor.
It's the most succulent taste I've ever tasted.
Attention shoppers, hurry up, it's delicious.
Hi, thanks for coming. Have a one-of-a-kind day.
Hurry and try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Here we go again.
Wait, there's a Red Hulk now?
Excuse me, what do I do about this?
We use Tide Oxy Boost.
It's a lifesaver.
The most powerful clean in any universe.
Looking good.
Thank you.
See Captain America, Brave New World.
One sandwich that says, "This guy appreciates wild-caught Alaskan fish." And a second that says, "This guy would like another sandwich." 2 for $6.99. Arby's, we have the meats.
At Fisher Investments, we may look like other money managers, but we're different.
How so?
We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our clients' best interest, so we don't sell any commission-based products.
Then how do you make money?
We have a simple management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
The clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority by getting to know their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more.
Wow. Maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
You want high-performance, long-lasting, affordable tools. You want Harbor Freight tools. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Save even more at our parking lot sale going on now.
Socks, underwear, and t-shirts are the most requested items in homeless shelters. Bombas was founded to help. So one purchased equals one donated. With 140 million donations and counting. Visit bombas.com and get 20% off your first order.
It's almost here, the Big East Tournament from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Coverage starts Wednesday, March 12th on Peacock. Hawks and FS1 the rest of the way. And when you look at the seedings, understand that St. John's win means that there's no opportunity to move up off of the 3 line for Uconn. But any trouble today and they could drop, and that's important. That Xavier Marquette matchup, potentially in the quarterfinal round, the afternoon session, that could be for an NCAA tournament bid for either of those. Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, Xavier is the hottest team in this league the last 2 weeks. And I'm going to tell you, Sean Miller's club is going to be tough, I think, for anybody to play in New York.
I think they have the most offensive weapons.
Absolutely.
Hands down in the Big East across the board.
And I don't think you'll find a better March coach. It's not as if he fell off a turnip truck when he left Arizona. There's Terrace Reed. Nice cut inside the lane.
I will say this. The coach standing across from us, he's been a pretty good March coach the last 2 years.
Yeah. I just think Sean
no disrespect to Sean Miller, but the guy standing on the sideline over there has been pretty good in March.
Sean's been on the precipice of many a Final Four and been denied. He's one of those guys that you could say best coach not to be in the Final Four. He would be one of the candidates for it. He and Jamie Dixon and several others come to mind in that category. Yet another turnover by the Huskies. They've been a little sloppy with the ball. Seton Hall has not made them pay that often, although this time Dual does. And he has been, listen, if they have any life at all in the second half, it's because of Garway Dual's first half.
Yeah, and I don't mind the aggressive turnovers, the unforced turnovers. You know, those are pro bono turnovers, I call them. The defense is doing nothing, Tim, and you're kind of just throwing it to a kneecap, or just kind of have to take a breath, slow down a little bit, wait till your guy gets in his spot.
Solo ball, went reversal, couldn't get it to go, and it's tipped in. Reed, I think, is going to take credit for it. His hand went up,
Smart.
I thought maybe Tubac got more of it, but it did go down, and it's 38-21.
Put your hand up. They see you over at the scorers table. That's your 2 points.
You can understand that. You were credited for a few of those in your day.
And, you know, when my teammates would make threes, I'd put my hand up just so they think it was mine at times.
Inside.
There you go.
Offensive foul again, you're right.
So if you're in position, Tim, if you're where you're supposed to be defensively and you have a coach that has a way with words in terms of their defensive stance to the officials, you just keep doing what you're doing and you're going to get those calls. That's now the last 2 that they've gotten because they were in great position where the first 4 went the other way.
And the chicken wing was not out, but a little hip action is what garnered that foul against Okorafor. The lead is back to 17 for the Huskies as we get close to the break. McNeely missed a slip opportunity with Caravan, and there's a foul off. The ball looks like it's going to go against Samson Johnson with a little hip flexor that he threw down along the baseline. He picks up his second and will quickly check out.
I will say these games are tough. It's really hard to play with a big lead, especially going into halftime. And so your attention to detail isn't consistent all the way through until there are zeros going into half, but that can't be for a championship level team.
Duval trying to do it on his own that time. Comes up empty. Caravan searching, probing. Stewart's going to get called for extra steps. Had the little bunny hop upon receiving the ball. And reminder coming up at halftime, Rob Stone, Casey Jacobson, and Seth Davis, who's got his Sharpies ready for the postseason, I'm sure. We'll have some first half analysis and tell you what to expect the rest of the afternoon and night in college basketball's final weekend of the regular season.
If I had to pick my nits with Uconn this half, I would say 10 turnovers just is not acceptable at home this time of year against a team that you on paper you're much better than.
And a foul underneath on that cut that was made by Tubac. And Reed picks up number 2.
That's a really nice play, moving without the basketball, be aggressive, get the body, and then get a chance to get to the foul line.
Regardless of the score right now, understand this about Shaheen Holloway and the way he knows this team has to play. If you can get to the free throw line, slow the game down, use all your fouls, you have a chance to make a mini run. Not one of those big, 15-0 runs, but maybe a slow drip, 6 or 7 here, a 9-2 run there. And all of a sudden you can get back into the game, particularly if Uconn is a willing turnover waiting to happen.
The key is you have a chance to score with the clock stopped. I mean, that is such a nice advantage and luxury to have. It's just, again, you got to be consistent with that.
16 sounds like a lot, but in today's college basketball, and particularly as defensive-minded as Seton Hall is, far from done.
And this is what Seton Hall did late in the game against their last game against Creighton. Full court press, but you have to get back and find shooters. Same thing you had to do against Creighton. Find guys on the wings because they're going to stay wide. Everyone's not running to the paint and then running to the corners. They're going to wings. They're going to corners first.
9 in the game for solo ball, and the lead catapults to 19. Tubac. Reed clears. Plenty of time for them to run something. They'll hold it for one here. McNeely will trigger the action. Isolated against Adewusu. Now the switch. And they get the foul with only 1.7 on the clock. And Shaheen is in disbelief. You played some pretty good D before making that mistake.
I think this is more an effect of a great offensive player than it is a poor defensive stop. I think Tubac is in there to be strong, to body up, but Liam McNeely's just, we've seen this. He plays like a senior. He baits you in. He knows how to score the ball. He's got a knack.
Well, that St. John's win on the road today is very impressive, isn't it? I mean, you've already wrapped up the regular season for the first time in almost 40 years in the Big East. And then a Marquette team that you know had to be hungry after playing well on this floor just a few days ago and losing. You know they wanted that on senior day.
What scares, I think, a lot of teams for St. John's is they've lost 4 games by a total of 7 points.
Absolutely.
4 games by 7 points. They're in every one of them.
Well, in game number 1, Uconn scored 22 in the first half. That late regulation and overtime win. Yeah. Both scoreless in the first half. And you combine that with Coleman struggling and being off the floor with foul trouble. Therein lies the reason Connecticut is leading by this mammoth margin right now.
You said payback game earlier, and I didn't know you meant the score, because remember, you mentioned it going to half. UConn had 22 points in that first matchup at halftime against Seton Hall.
And there's Johnson again off a beautiful dime drop by Hassan Diarra. The two seniors collaborate yet again, just as they did to open this game. And the lead balloons to 23, the largest of the day.
That's how you start a half, though. You know, you come out kind of the same way you started the game. You got to know they love to get the interior passes to Samson Johnson, no matter who it comes from.
Coleman, there's no doubt he was going to go right to the rack, forced that one a bit, looking for a whistle that did not come.
That's what Samson Johnson's reputation has done, though. You see him coming at you, you're going to try to be a little quicker.
Oh, nice cut. And a great bounce pass entry from Caravan. 47-22. Well, I hear tell there's another big man from Uconn that may be joining us for a segment coming up, as was the case when these two met 3 weeks ago. Donovan Klingon joined us, and I think an older version of Klingon may be joining us here in a few minutes. Wiser? Yeah, okay. Wiser than a lot of people. Coleman gets that one to fall. Emeka Okafor is going to join us shortly, and this may be the perfect time. You have a 47-24 game. You got the bigs, Johnson and Reed, playing well, and you like to talk about low post play. Maybe he can too.
Well, low post play has been fine. It's 26-12 in the paint for UConn. So.
Oh, Caravan just lost that one to Adewusu. And Aligbe tries to take it in. And wow, he answered the bell, Caravan did, helping force that turnover.
A lot of contact there. Shaheen Holloway wanted a foul.
Ball off the front iron. Tries to follow his own shot. Finds Caravan for 3. Dual, who's really the only Pirate that's had any success offensively, leading them in the first half, drops it off to Adewusu. That's a good look. Ariarine off the pass as they came out to respect Darway Dual. 47-26, Huskies. Again, those 4-minute increments, just find a way and slow this juggernaut down. That kind of spacing won't help. Caravan had plenty of room, and it's 50-26, and right away Shaheen looks to his bench to get some help defensively.
I think at some point Shaheen Holloway might ask one of his, if not all of his coaches, to come in. He's running out of guys he can motivate to go out there and play the right way.
And now just a careless turnover by Dual. Dribbled that one off his shin. It's just too easy down there. Caravan will not get the hoop, but he does find some harm. This crisp passing when you've got the floor spread will always help.
Yeah, 12 assists on 18 field goals for UConn, and it's always difficult when you have a big lead to continue to play the right way. I was talking to Emeka Okafor about this at halftime. It's hard to play with a huge lead. Not just because you're trying to stay aggressive and you think, hey, we have this in the bag, but also to play the right way. And UConn has consistently done that when they get up big.
Boy, when you think about national championships won, speaking of Emeka and the team that he was on that won it, how many times when teams weren't 1-2 seeds to win national titles, you guys old coach Jim Calhoun, whether it was the Kimba year in 11 or other years, to catch lightning in a bottle come tournament time and then roll as a lower seed.
Yeah, the Kevin Ollie team.
Absolutely.
Just that 9-9 in league play, and
so many times
everyone had written them off.
And that was a team that took down Duke at Tropicana Fields.
I mean, that team took down every major conference champion.
Yeah.
Every major conference champion they took down and to get to that national title.
Next time you see Calhoun, he's going to have to remember we said something about that. You better remind him that we brought it up.
Well, I mean, that was Kevin Ollie's national title, but Calhoun will definitely.
He'll take it.
Yes, he will.
That was Ollie's. That's right.
Yeah. He should.
That's right. That was Kevin Ollie's.
It was.
But I was thinking of the one with Kimba.
Yeah, that
in 11. That was 2011. When you think of that season, they started in Washington.
That's right.
And made the roll all the way through the Big East tournament.
14.
Yeah.
Shabazz Napier was the 14.
Shabazz Napier was 14. There is the example of it. All those great players more recently to win national championships. And Neely coming out to check. Coleman got a little handsy and picks up the foul. Shaheen was lobbying all the way with Tony Chiazza for that whistle, and he got it. First on McNeely. And he's still letting them go. He's still letting them know that he needs a few more fouls called on this end of the floor. Adewusu throws up that baseline teardrop. It was really a prayer. And we'll get to the free throw line as a result.
Well, they're going to take that out on the baseline, I think.
Oh, they got it beforehand. Yeah, he did want shots. It was a late launch and a good call. That foul definitely took place before the launch of the shot.
I think Shaheen is happy that they got two foul calls, 2 in a row.
Yeah. 3 fouls on this trip, and yet another turnover by Seton Hall. Diarra. Oh! Off the window. Slam time. Hammer time at Gamble. This could be the coronation highlight show. Adewusu with the iron, unkind on a dunk. And he's down. He hit the deck hard after taking it inside, and we'll take a break. Hope he's okay. Man, oh man.
Well, this is when it gets fun. You better hope that your big man catches that.
Yeah.
And oh boy, did he catch it. What do you call him, Samson Johnson? I like that. We need t-shirts. Samson Johnson.
So we're down 34-0. Winning will be tough. That's why I brought in the ease specialist.
Right. Geico makes car insurance easy. With the Geico app, you can check your policy on the go and get access to 24/7 claim support.
Yeah! Let's make this easy!
You know, that felt a lot closer.
For car insurance made easy, get more with Geico.
I just signed 1,819,154 thank you cards for people who bought subs on last year's Day of Giving.
You know we're doing it again this year, right?
Again? Join us for Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. Be a sub above.
Let's start the bidding at $5 million. Thank you, sir.
These people of privilege, hoarding the financial advantages for far too long.
7.5 at the back.
Look at them, unaware that Robin Hood Gold members now enjoy the VIP treatment.
$10 million on the
A
right.
3% IRA match on retirement contributions.
11 million, sir.
Once they discover their privileges are no longer exclusive, their fragile reality will plunge into disarray.
You want high-performance, long-lasting, affordable tools. You want Harbor Freight tools. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Save even more at our parking lot sale going on now.
If you could pick the perfect topping for a freshly prepped Jersey Mike sub bowl, what would it be? On a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Tender, juicy, all-white meat chicken breast. Jinx. I knew you were going to say that. The new roasted chicken sub bowl. Only at Jersey Mike's.
A new postseason tournament comes to Fox and FS1. The College Basketball Crown. 16 teams from the top conferences. The College Basketball Crown. March 31st on Fox and FS1. Buy your tickets today at vividseats.com or download the app.
Yeah, I'd say this guy was pretty successful. 2004 NCAA champion. He was the Big East Player of the Year. A 2-time Big East defensive player. I mean, the accolades go on, Donnie.
Rookie of the year in the NBA.
How about that?
He's actually, I think he has a SAG card too. What, 1-3 Hill, right? And what, Power Ghost,
the little
right?
power, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're contemplating this?
Yeah. I thought he was smart. I thought he was smart. I don't know now.
No, it's good to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
By the way, we will allow that shirt today as a guest, okay? But in the future, it's something to consider.
Fair enough.
At one point in the game, I think I said something about Zeno, and he almost jabbed me a little bit, like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, you gotta know who signed your checks."
The Wusu, fortunately, is okay. Right away picks up the foul after missing a bunny inside, and he's just hanging his head. You really feel for that kid. He's given his all throughout his entire career, and of course, did all he could while at St. John's. Moved over to Seton Hall, helped them a year ago. I've always admired the grit that he brought to the game.
Yeah, Wusu is just a tough player. I want to ask Emeka about, we talk about how the game has evolved and how guard play has changed. Sometimes the pace of the game has changed. Have you seen a difference in how, a Sanogo or a Klingon compared to Johnson and Terrace Reed, and then compared to you, how that game has changed down in the low block?
Yeah, the game's changed a lot. On the college level, I think with Sanogo and Klingon, you still have teams that have the traditional two big setup and see a lot of success with it. But as the game has evolved, athletic bigs like Samson, you see a lot more teams have success with that as well.
That drop coverage, you never heard much about that when you were playing. We didn't even know what that meant.
Hey, man, it was 8-bit system back then. Just it was hedge and get over and or let through. Now you have drop covers, up to touch, blitz, just a myriad of different types of coverages that you have to know.
I don't know of a sport that's changed any more than college basketball and basketball in general, really, since you played, Emeka. I know you see a tie ball, and as usual in any scrum, Wusu has been over. The arrow is to Seton Hall. A little woofing going on between Middleton and Samson Johnson. Officials trying to get in between there.
And Tony Chiazza is going to hand out a couple of texts.
Yeah, a couple of F1s maybe. Yeah. But the days of the low post back to the basket player are really gone. For the most part.
You see it in flashes. Again, back when I played, if you didn't have at least one dominant player, you had absolutely no chance of having any type of success.
I think only maybe Matt Painter a year ago, and with Zach Edey, why not, right?
Yeah, even with, that's why I'm so happy to see Edey with the success that he's had.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk about, him being a traditional big and how his success would translate into the NBA. He's done a phenomenal job. And his presence last year is why Purdue made it as far as they did.
Yeah. By the way, those texts, F1s were given to Middleton and Johnson.
Emeka had asked me, do we find ourselves repeating things? And I said that the one thing I'd be remiss if I didn't repeat myself. Jump ball has been kind of it's been a stickler with me. When you see guys work hard, they dive on the floor, and then you have to rely on that possession arrow. I thought Liam McNeely was first to the floor.
Right.
Ball goes back to Seton Hall. So that's the one thing I'll repeat a lot. I just think you got to leave it in the players' hands. Let them jump it up.
Coleman's poor shooting continues. Uconn trying to get this above the 30 mark in terms of a deficit for Seton Hall. You knew this was going to be a real tough one for the Pirates, but it's really been all Uconn, even with their turnovers. And a lot of that, a missed three and too many offensive rebounds. Caracan all day long.
Does a really nice job with his length. I think people underestimate how long Caravan is. You see it when he blocks shots. You see it when he's on the offensive glass as well.
More with our friend Emeka Okafor when we come back. That's what we call a tease.
So I started selling coffee at farmers markets. I did that for about 5 years with no real traction, and I decided I needed to pivot. So I personalized the outer packaging of the coffee, and I made a TikTok. When I went viral, I had over 1,200 orders and over $25,000 in sales. TikTok changed my life for the better. It allowed Cafe and Poros to thrive and to continue. Had it not been for TikTok and those viral videos, Cafe and Poros would not be around today.
Guys, still working, eh? Take tomorrow off. Keys.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Whoever decided to serve KFC chicken with Mike's Hot Honey is a genius. A sweet, sticky, spicy, crispy genius. Grab it for $7 or share with friends for $25 before it's gone.
Did you just pay with PayPal?
Yes, it keeps my info safe, even at this shady lemonade stand.
What are you calling shady, mister?
Oh, like this is fresh squeeze. Give me a break, Logan. I want to pay with you everywhere. Don't just pay, PayPal.
Big East basketball is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. Along with Donnie Marshall and our guest commentator for a short time here is Emeka Okafor, a low post player that never took or attempted a three-point shot in his entire Connecticut career, is by our sides. And
it was a different era.
Yeah, it was.
Boy, the game has changed.
Our resume,
couldn't even practice them.
Our tournament resume, you see it here. Mike DeCourcy currently, Emeka, has them on the 8 line. And if they even stay there, think about this. If you're in the tournament and you're a 1 seed, you could potentially have to play Connecticut, the 2-time defending champs, in the second round.
You know, that's what makes the tournament so entertaining, is that any team can get hot. You know, with these seedings, oftentimes it takes they take the whole season into accountability, but if a team is hot at the end, you know, UConn's coming into by the time they're done here, it'll be a 4-game win streak. They do great in the tournament. They come into the tournament with a full head of steam, and that's something to be afraid of.
What do you remember most, whether it was the season, your run in the championship, besides cutting down the nets for that 04 national championship? What do you remember most about that season?
What I remember is the 6 losses that we had and how it didn't matter at all when it came tournament time. You know, we won the Big East tournament and then ran through the tournament with the ease.
Yeah.
And that was a loaded Georgia Tech team that you guys wound up playing with a lot of outstanding guards, and you just shut them down.
Yeah, you know, Jared Jackson on that team, Muhammad Bynum. It was a pretty loaded team. Luke Schenscher was the big at the time, and they had an amazing run. They actually, in the Final Four, I was actually rooting against them because they were playing OSU, and my high school teammate, John Lucas III, was playing, and, you know, I really wanted to play him. At the end of that, it was a pretty close game. John actually hit a 3 to put him up, and I think it was Bynum who ended up winning the game for him. But
what are your thoughts on this team, this Connecticut team, particularly in the low post where Terrace Reed's trying to find himself and Johnson's a different kind of low post player?
Yeah, these bigs are different bigs than we've had in the past. They've been solid for us. They've done well. I think just in general, they add to the identity in terms of toughness and grit. Throughout the season, there's been a lot of close games, a lot of tough games that's gone either way. I think that's a positive. I think that really battle tests you for the tournament, and when they find themselves in those positions, which you just will, I think it'll serve them great.
Look at that. Reed takes that alley-oop from Mahaney. It was a beautiful thing. And here comes Middleton, and there's a whistle as Caravan hits the deck. How many times have you loved getting a lob like this?
Yeah, brings back memories. You know, I was actually on the phone with Ben before coming up here, and we're just chatting a little bit about our experiences. And yeah, Ben served up a few. Rashad Anderson, which was another guard, served up a few. And especially when the dunks came and the crowd got in it just added to the entertainment and the fun.
Yeah, Ben Gordon, another phenomenal guard to grace this court.
There's a quick trap and a timeout taken by Mahaney. A quick 30-second break. We'll be right. You don't mind hanging around for a little while,
no, not at all.
Why not?
There was a tree down in the woods, the prettiest tree that you ever did see. Now the tree has roots that need water to grow jobs, grow skills, make the whole world go. Oh, make the green grass grow all around, make the green grass grow all around.
At JP Morgan Chase, the investments we make help make businesses happen, that make jobs happen, that make communities happen. Together, we make momentum happen.
Tonight on Primetime Hoops, it's a battle under the bright lights in Los Angeles as USC takes on UCLA. Cross-time rivalry showdown with coverage beginning at 7 Eastern, only on Fox. You know, I know what Donnie Marshall had to say about the selling points that Jim Calhoun had for him. What about you? What did Jim Calhoun say to you to convince you to come to UConn?
You know, Coach, he was just up front. He said, hey, look, we have minutes. I can't promise them to you. You know, we have some guys leaving, and I have to play you.
Yeah.
Now, how much is going to be dependent on you? And then, and then on the other side of that, so I came in after, you know, I ended up starting for the whole year. And at the end of the year, at our exit meetings, Coach said, hey, look, I actually I didn't mean to play you as much as I did. You earned it. You did well. Congratulations.
He didn't say all those nice things that I said during the recruiting process. At practice number 1, you can forget about that.
Yeah.
You're mine now.
No, the thing, Coach is pretty upfront. You know, Coach is pretty upfront. He didn't mince words. He didn't mince emotion. Like, you know, I think that's also why he had so much success. You know, he was all about recruiting toughness and grit. And the guys on the team were a mixture of personalities, but what we all shared with it, we just had that dog in us. And that's why we bonded then and now to this day.
I think that was probably one of the best memories was this coach comes to your house from 3,000 miles away and it sweet talks you. You get to the first practice and he says, you remember that guy that came into your house? That's that sweet guy who had all the nice things to say. You'll never see him again. And to Emeka's point, he was honest. We never saw that guy again.
Why do I think
we're grateful?
Why do I think he may have been more delicate with Emeka than you?
Just a little.
Yeah.
Just a little.
In general, I feel like I got a subdued version of Coach. Like, I hear all these stories, and by the time I got there, you know, he was calm, quote unquote.
And he didn't let any of us around Emeka to let him know the truth before he got him to campus either.
Well, it's turned into a layup drill here in the second half as Coleman, who's really had all kinds of trouble, totally frustrated by the Connecticut defense. Now he takes it inside, and even there, he rushed a shot, and here comes Reed the other way.
And when you play a lot of minutes like Isaiah Coleman's had to play for the Seton Hall team, you know, it wears you down. You get to this point of the season where you're on the top of everyone's scouting report.
70-32.
Hey, you just have to commend Seton Hall for just coming out here and competing. You know, I've been on this end with my first year at the Bobcats. You were 18 and 64. That's a lot of losing. And, you know, at the end there, you're just playing on just pride and passion. And these guys, I know the score doesn't reflect it. They're trying.
I would say probably a similar payroll to what's happening in college basketball, too, to that Bobcats team back then.
More than likely,
Talk about the game changing.
Look at that cut. Reed with a nice find, a good defense at the 10 by Seton Hall. Coleman this time is fouled. Emeka, this was a lot of fun. Listen,
appreciate it.
As I said before, you could be changing the world. if you choose to do this, you'll be okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Y'all too kind.
Back with more right after this.
Coffee Mate is the world's biggest coffee lover because we
Biggest
love.
coffee lover?
Huh?
Impossible.
Well, Coffee Mate loves all the ways you enjoy
Biggest coffee lover? I flew to Thailand for this.
We have flavors from all over the world.
I love iced coffee so much. I lost 2 fingers.
Wow. Well,
We need our little coffee treats, even if it means we'll never afford a house.
what I'm trying to say is. Okay, maybe we're the second biggest coffee lovers.
Tide Pods Ultra Oxy one-ups the cleaning power of liquid.
Can it one up whatever they're doing?
For sure.
Seriously?
One up the power of liquid, one up the toughest stains. Any further questions? One up the power of liquid with Tide Pods Ultra Oxy.
One sandwich that says, "This guy appreciates wild-caught Alaskan fish." And a second that says, "This guy would like another sandwich." 2 for $6.99. Arby's, we have the meat.
Meet Milo. He's part border collie and part party animal. Meet the Bissell Little Green Hydro Steam Pet. It's part steam-powered stain remover and part party animal patrol. Bissell, a new breed of clean.
Taking the kids for pizza after the game.
Nancy Dawson is passive progressive.
Oh, that's nice. So nice of you to spend a fraction of your progressive savings on the team. That's so generous. Oh!
Don't be like Nancy.
See that?
Drivers who switch could save hundreds.
This sport isn't for the weak. These drivers are a different breed. There's heroes, villains, in an all-out battle for the checkered flag. The NASCAR Cup Series from Phoenix on FS1.
It is senior day, and no doubt all three are having the kind of afternoons that will be etched in their gray matter forever. Unless, of course, you go to Just for Men. Alex Caravan, who will have an option to return. The other two for Diarra and Samson Johnson. This is it, the last time they'll ever play on this floor. And look at those numbers. Yeah. And Hassan will take those 5 assists as 10 points.
How about this? 364 combined games played. 2,600 total points. And almost 8,000 minutes played between those three. And by the way, a couple of national titles in there as well.
Indeed. And you know, when Tristan Newton was playing here for the first national championship, I think the question at midseason, Donnie, about that team, like where you find the holes in that team, most people thought Newton as a transfer was more of a 2-guard. Maybe you attack the point. And then imagine what a great point guard he became last year. Yeah. So now Diarra having to step into those size 22s and then do it while playing really with some injuries all season long. It's been a courageous season for him.
I mean, we live in a culture of comparisons. You know that, Tim, as well as I do. And it's hard and probably not fair to compare good to good, bad to good, bad to bad. It's just, but it happens. And, you know, you're right. You had some big shoes to fill, all of these players. Kind of like Emeka when he came in after me. Huge. I'm not even sure he filled them, but, you know, something we can talk about later.
Mahaney. (73-32).
I don't care what the score is. Anytime you can knock down shots and just see the ball going in, even if it's a foul call and it's after the whistle, it helps shooters.
Well, going into New York next week for the Big East tournament, this Connecticut team, of course, the fan base looks at the Garden as Gamble South, and the positioning that they will have as a 3 seed. This is exactly what the doctor ordered to give them a feel-good going into postseason play. Adewusu trying to make that cut. The pass A bounce pass for Riley leads to a turnover, and Jalen Stewart.
You talk about athleticism between number 3 and 23. Boy, future is bright in terms of interchangeable parts with those two young men right there. But yeah, you talk about consistency. This will be UConn's 4th consecutive win. They haven't won 4 in a row since December when they won 8 straight. So this is huge. Timing is everything to find that momentum and to find success heading into tournament play.
Well, bench points are now 26-5 after Toomey put that one in. And so the reinforcements have gotten it done. And the even better news, as Stewart misses for UConn, is the number of guys off the bench that should get some vital playing time at game's end. The defense turning turnovers into points, been happening all afternoon.
And I know you can look at this and say, Seton Hall's overmatched and they're making bad plays, but the point we made earlier, and I think it holds true, they're in position. Defensively, UConn has been in position, I would say 98% of the time. Coach Hurley might disagree. He probably says 50, but they've been in position to be able to take charges, to help defensively, to come up with steals, deflections all game long.
Dual with a baseline drive has it knocked away. Speaking of Danny, as I mentioned earlier, I came to the shoot-around this morning and having a really pretty good conversation with him without provocation, okay? Just kind of summarizing the season. He kind of put it on himself what happened. The waves of emotions from the trip to Maui at the beginning to the issues that they had after the injury to Liam McNeely and his own maturation. We talked about that too, and he brought it up, which tells you that he's got a good level of self-awareness now, regardless of the kind of news that he makes, whether on the floor or off, which I got to tell you, Donnie, I found really impressive today.
Well, self-awareness, I think, was the key there. But even as players, he played, he knows. You can watch tape and see what you're not doing well, but you can also coach and see it in the stats and see in the minutes that you can be a better coach.
Another turnover, this time by the Huskies. End-to-end goes Yasin Toomey. And a foul. We got a timeout with 7:37 remaining. And the Huskies, the 2-time champs, not nearly the favorites they once were, but oh, how dangerous they'll be if they're on that 8-9 line in the tournament.
Life doesn't come with an owner's manual. Freedom is getting to write your own. So get 10% off a Jeep Wrangler or get into a Jeep Grand Cherokee where freedom is on-road or off, where it's a front row seat to the city or a second row seat, maybe even a third. Life doesn't come with an owner's manual, so get out there and write your own.
During the Jeep Celebration event, get 10% below MSRP for an average of $5,650 under MSRP on these 2024 Jeep Wrangler models. See your local Jeep brand dealer today.
Did you just pay with PayPal?
Yes, it keeps my info safe, even at this shady lemonade stand.
What are you calling shady, mister?
Oh, like this is fresh squeeze. Give me a break, Logan. I want to pay with you everywhere.
Don't just pay, PayPal. New Downy Comfy Cozy combines softness and scent for an elevated cozy we call Cozy. Transform your everyday with new Downy Comfy Cozy. It not only combines softness and scent, it breathes life into your laundry.
Did they just hop from a baseball game to a show on Max without leaving DirecTV?
It's like all their apps and channels are connected.
Oh, it's all connected. Shows, movies, sports, cooking shows. Oh my God.
Is she talking to us?
Tell me, how does DirecTV put all your favorite stuff on one home screen? Uncanny content suggestions based on your watch history? Or mind control?
Were you recently electrocuted?
A better way to watch whatever you want to watch.
Well, I, for one, am intrigued.
You want high-performance, long-lasting, affordable tools. You want Harbor Freight tools. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Save even more at our parking lot sale going on now.
Panera's packed with flavor bagel just got stacked with even more for just $7.99. Meet our new Asiago Bagel Stacks. Choose from the chicken Roma with grilled chicken and green goddess dressing, the spicy steak or zesty Tuscan. Only $7.99 each and only at Panera for a limited time.
Danny Hurley, Shaheen Holloway connected as players at the Hall. Caver was the guy that Danny backed up, and Shaheen, of course, an outstanding defender that came as Danny was making his exit. And as coaches, Shaheen's had his moments, as we mentioned. Danny Hurley still looking for his first win at the Rock, the Prudential Center in Newark. But today it's been all Huskies on senior day. And the points have been plentiful just about everywhere on the floor.
Yeah, these situations, I think when you look at, these are the most losses Seton Hall has had since that 82, 83 season.
Yeah.
But the game is changing in terms of it being more transactional, and it's not, the onus is not just on the coaches. The administration recognizes that, hey, we have to do more fundraising. We have to find funds to be able to allow our coach, Shaheen Holloway, to compete at this level like all the other coaches. And I know Seton Hall is going to get that thing together. So taking your shots now, get them in, because that guy right there is not going to allow this to happen again.
Yeah, and they are so aware that they have a new facility in New Jersey that's beautiful, but most will tell you in the portal NIL era, it's more than just facilities now. It's about the scratch and how much of it. And that's going to be the key issue moving forward for Seton Hall, as I think it is for a number of teams in this new era of college basketball.
This is kind of that pressure that they showed against Creighton late. Now it's hard to play that all game long, but I think you'll see more of that this last 7 minutes. Shaheen Holloway probably sending more of a message to his players that I want you to finish playing hard than it is to trying to make UConn uncomfortable. Maybe twofold.
Darway Dual trying to do it on his own, and he'll induce the blocking foul.
Yeah, it's never going to be a charge, especially when you're moving that fast and the ball is up high. Take a look. This is just a nice job by Dual. See the ball up high? They're never going to call an offensive foul on that unless you have arm extended and that defensive player has been there before you start to take off.
Touched on Madison Square Garden, where the Big East tournament gets rolling yet again next week. Beginning with coverage Wednesday on Peacock and then later on FS1 and Fox. Listen,
You're
this
not saying it right, Tim. I know you live in the South.
Right.
You're saying tournament. It's tournament.
No, I do try my best to go Jersey on you.
I'm just trying to
tournament.
There you go. That's better.
At least I don't go Masters and say tournament.
That's
you
got Jersey and New York with a little Providence peppered in there.
That's true.
We got to clean that up a little bit.
I've been doing that my entire career. But the thing to remember about this UConn team, and by the way, they look at the Garden, their fans do, is Stores South. They will, a major part of that crowd, it won't just be St. John's fans at the Garden at next week's games as Stewart goes reversal yet again.
Yeah, I'm excited to not only see the competition on the court, but the quote-unquote Stores South fan base versus the Johnny's fan base. That is, I mean, talk about a game within the game.
Well, after St. John's, and they are the headline story, after St. John's, it will be Connecticut. What kind of Huskies team will we see as the second season gets underway? Very few, if any, have left this building. They are enjoying this coronation to close out the regular season. Up against the clock, solo ball. Too strong, and it's run down by Middleton. Aligbe looks for his second straight basket, and he draws the foul from Johnson.
You know, I agree with what Emeka Okafor told us when he was on with us earlier about giving Seton Hall a lot of credit. You know, you kind of run into a buzzsaw. They're continuing to play hard. I know what the score is, but it takes a lot to continue to play hard and aggressive and to, you know, to really show that you care when you're down this big.
I was asking Shaheen about Isaiah Coleman, who's clearly the most impressive offensive talent, despite his play today, the most impressive offensive talent he has. And I said to him, how much have you discussed or at least thought about re-recruiting him now to make sure you hold on to him. He could be the foundation of the future.
Yeah.
Now, he's on the bench sitting down right now, and he said, well, it's not as if I don't know that that's the case, but in today's environment, you just don't know. You're just unaware. And when they got back on the bus after winning the NIT in Indianapolis, he had no idea that everyone was vacating the building for good.
But you kind of have to focus on what you can control. I agree with you. You have to re-recruit him. Just like I would say Uconn has to re-recruit Jaden Ross and Jalen Stewart. They may even have to re-recruit Alex Caravan. You just don't know. So every team is going through that same predicament once the season ends or gets close to the end.
Well, what a save there by Johnson. Loose ball yet again up against the clock. Diarra with a heave. Look at Caravan tap it out. And we've got a foul on the deck. A loose ball situation.
Tell you,
it's like Middleton will pick it up.
If you didn't know the score, Tim, and you saw the last couple of possessions, you would think this was a 1 or 2 possession game. But the way both teams are playing, you'd love to see that.
Yeah, it could easily get into the Summer League or All-Star game variety, right? Listen to this crowd respond to Hassan Diarra. From Queens, New York, transferred in from Texas A&M, the Big East 6th Man of the Year award winner. And you know, there's a special hug for Mamadou. He's the director of player development here at Uconn. Faced a lot of knee issues throughout his career.
Big brother.
Yep. Mahaney getting back on the deck. 6 assists and 4 steals for Diarra, and we touched on it before, but he's battled those tendonitis issues all season long. It's good to see him with fresh legs, which he did not have 3 weeks ago.
You know, again, he's been thrust into a new role. He really has to be, Hassan Diarra has to be not just a facilitator, but he's got to be a vocal leader on the floor. And when you play most of your career as a one-time 6th Man of the year in this conference, it's a different role.
And now for Caravan. Take a bow. You will not meet a more genuine person than Alex Caravan. You know, he's been through a lot emotionally this season, taking on the leadership role and one of the dual purposes of the guy that wears the C on his jersey. And now Samson Johnson. Great way to go out for all these guys.
That's how you leave it out there. Samson Johnson, 14 points, 6 rebounds. Oh, good D right there. Again, these are times where I think coaches find out a lot about your character as a player. Can you continue to play hard, play the right way, whether you're up big or down big? Trying to find guys they can trust.
Nice work by Toomey to get into the passing lane and knock that one away for Seton Hall. Wow. A little high-low into a Ligbe for the deuce. 79-43.
I just hope people, when they heard you say self-proclaimed basketball capital of the world, I hope they at you and don't try to at me.
You had to bring that up?
I'm just saying.
At this stage, really?
Look, but you mentioned no one's really left. That's what you get when you're at the basketball capital.
Absolutely. Well, what I'm doing when I say that is I'm protecting the ats from other places. You see?
Gotcha.
Yeah. Ligbe with a little duck under, and he's fouled. Reed got him on the arm. Lots of hugs and congratulations to all of them. Senior day is not what it used to be, but for these two, they know Johnson and Diarra, Caravan does have the option. And that'll be one of the big questions after this season concludes.
ACE's new Yard RX program prescribes the best lawn care, specific to your yard's needs, delivered every season. Because when you want greener grass, less weeds, and fewer bugs, now you can get a personal prescription delivered to you from the helpful folks at ACE. You'll get everything you need at our best price each season, guaranteed. From our store to your front door, with service so good it's guaranteed.
ACE is the place with the helpful heart. It's gonna all work out. Thanks, future me.
These dishes just aren't getting clean.
Problem isn't your machine. It's likely your detergent. I recommend switching to Cascade Platinum Plus. These new pods have the grease-fighting power of Dawn, easily removing up to 100% of tough stuck-on foods. Cascade Platinum Plus.
Check out this new life insurance policy I scored with Ethos.
How many weeks did it take you to get a policy like that?
With Ethos, try 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Yeah, just go to ethos.com and protect your family's future. The best part is there's no medical exams.
Check your price today at ethos.com.
Mira Joy, the overwhelming relief after Miralax helps you go. Miralax works naturally with the water in your body, putting you in a supernaturally good mood. Miralax, free your gut to free your mood.
There are smaller fish sandwiches that cost less money. But why would you eat the fish your fish is supposed to eat? You're higher up the food chain than that. Arby's, we have the meats.
Capital of the world. Back here at the basketball capital of the world, Storrs, Connecticut, Uconn really had their way today and continue to play together. This is the time of year where things have to round into shape. You have to know your identity, and Uconn has shown that. Unselfish with the basketball, 21 assists on 28 made field goals. That's a sign of a team, Tim, that understands not only, one, how important this next season, if you will, coming up, but how important it is to play the right way together, stay together no matter win, lose, draw, and they've shown that today.
Well, win, place, and show, which we generally use with 1, 2, 3. These three today that qualify as seniors combined for 30 points on 12 of 19 from the floor, 18 boards, 10 assists, and 5 steals. I'd say that's a pretty good day for those triplets that are stepping aside, potentially all three. We mentioned Caravan. That's an interesting question for Caravan. I'd love to get your thoughts on that in terms of projecting to the next level and what his future might hold. Does the extra year really help him?
Pretty simple. You go out, you get as much information as you can from the next level. If they say you're ready, you have to go. I think, listen, sometimes it's an emotional part for college athletes in general. You love where you are, you get comfortable. Everywhere you go, you are the king, but sometimes at some point that's going to end, and now you have to think about your future, and I think getting as much information as you can from your next employer is the most important thing right off the bat.
I think particularly in this day and time with the NIL numbers where they are, it's of great value to players in his situation.
Absolutely. And, you know, and if you're like Emeka Okafor, who took a pay cut when he left school to go to the NBA, then it's easy. You stay in school. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. The NCAA is going to be all over that. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Mahaney leaves the game. Abraham's checked in. Isaiah Abraham, the freshman from Gainesville, Virginia. Got about 20, just shy of 30 minutes of playing time this year. And it looks like a curtain call is coming for a few other guys as well from Danny Hurley here in the last 3 minutes of this game. Youssef Sengare is going to check in. And Aligbe gets back to the free throw line.
I think as we kind of forecast a little bit about the Big East tournament and who UConn's going to be playing, they without question have the talent. I think now the question is, do you have the spirit? Do you have the belief, the confidence, the wherewithal to put it together each time you step on the floor? Some of them have been there. Yeah. They've done it, but most of them haven't. That will be, to me, I think, the challenge for this coaching staff to try to let those guys know who haven't been here how special it is and how special it can be to win.
Right there, you noticed Danny made sure to get Terrace Reed out of the game so the crowd could react to him as well. As Singari comes in, Reed's one of those guys with more eligibility remaining. Can he improve incrementally? As one of the bigs of this program, we shall see.
And then all of a sudden, season ends, Tim, and the value of those guys goes up.
Absolutely.
Fivefold.
Yep.
Danielle Marshall left, but there's another kid who has a similar name. I guess he's next up. It does work like that at times. And there's a lot of value in what these guys are learning right now. Terrace Reed, Stewart, Ross, Noel.
And a reach-in foul is spotted. Those NCAA tournament projections, did I say it right that time? I think I did.
Yeah, you said it right. Yeah.
The Johnnies are at 2 right now, according to Mike DeCourcy. Marquette at 6 for the moment. UConn on the 8 line. I think they could work their way. That may be the goal, to get off the 8-9 line, frankly. And Creighton on the 9 line. Xavier, last 4 in at this stage. And let me tell you, that first opportunity in the Big East tournament that they may have, so big for them to get in and give Sean Miller's club an opportunity. It's funny, because I think the Big East last year was top to bottom a better conference, Donnie, and yet they only got 3 in. This year, to show you the way the game works, it's not, in my opinion, as good top to bottom, but as many as 5 could get in.
Yeah, it's interesting how those things, how year to year it changes. I think UConn was so dominant that there wasn't a lot of focus or emphasis put on anyone after that.
Absolutely.
Everyone was so just infatuated with talking about their success, and now, as good as St. John's is, you're still talking about the other teams below them.
And the realignment factor with the so-called super leagues has changed, the landscape to some extent when we're talking about 13 or 14 out of one league, 10 or 11 in another, and so on.
I mean, some conferences are going to get as many teams in the NCAA tournament as the Big East has total.
Absolutely.
It's unheard of.
Yep. I mean, Illinois sent a message yesterday, and I think potentially, that's one of those teams that has all kinds of talent. If they're making threes, they're a tough matchup for everybody they play. And a shot clock violation against Seton Hall with quality D all the way through this game, no matter the score. Giving Shaheen Holloway something to hang his hat on at day's end. I recall that game we had at the Garden a couple of years back in the quarterfinals between Providence and UConn. Right when UConn had come back into the league, Donnie, that was sort of a New England championship game that was being played. And Ed Cooley's team was down by a big margin, made a strong run, and those fans were going nuts for both teams. I think they were down 25, and they came back, cut it to 4 or 5 points late. It's just an incredible environment at Madison Square Garden, unlike really any other conference tournament you'll see. Stewart turns it over.
Got to be ready to catch those. You roll, you got to get those hands ready.
And a foul underneath. Well, this does it for you and me for the regular season. Rumor has it we'll reconvene towards the end of March and the start of April. I look forward to that. Next week I'll be chasing golf balls and keeping up with you.
Sin City is where we'll meet next, you and I.
Here's Aligbe at the free throw line. It's been, as always, a great season. Love covering this tournament and college basketball on Fox.
You'll be out there sandbagging the next couple of weeks.
Trying to get that handicap up to double digits before I come to your tournament. We're talking about the Crown. which, by the way, I think is a great invention by the company we work for. The 16 best teams out of the best conferences.
I was always taught when you can be one of the last teams to be playing in a season, more eyes are on you.
Absolutely. And there are going to be quality teams that don't make the NCAAs. I look at Georgetown, by example. Greatest starting five, perhaps, that they've had in a long time.
Yeah.
They just don't have the bench yet. But Ed Cooley's team, I mean, they could be it could be their crowning achievement, perhaps, in Vegas. Who knows? But the moment now belongs to Uconn.
Yeah, just a wonderful season, wonderful Big East season, and it was a pleasure being with you, partner.
Tyler Dare directing for us today. Our thanks to him, Caden Pfeiffer, our producer, all of the people with Fox. We thank them tremendously for a job well done and another fantastic season. It went by quickly yet again.
Yeah, thank my little brother, Mecca Okafor, for coming on with us. I don't think I'm his uncle. Yeah, I think I'm still his.
I know this. I didn't scare him. Maybe you did.
Some things don't change, man.
Congratulations to Uconn as those two friends get together. A lot of mutual respect for Donnie Marshall and our